Hello, and welcome to Birdeye Live, the show dedicated to the digital transformation of local businesses everywhere. Join me, Justin Meredith, your host and digital marketing evangelist at Birdeye, as we learn from industry experts about the how and the why for taking your business online and claiming the most valuable real estate on the internet, the first page of Google. So today, I'm very fortunate to have the CEO and founder of Three Girls Media, Erika Taylor Montgomery, join us today to talk a little bit of SEO, a preview our webinar together this Thursday. Speaking of which, be sure to click the link in the comments and save your spot for this discussion. It's going to be jam-packed with a ton of awesome tips and insights on how to strengthen your local SEO and really just overall improve your online reputation. So, Erika, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm wonderful. Thank you. Working on my first cup of coffee, so getting the caffeine buzz going. How about yourself?
I'm good. I've had a smoothie this morning and I'm ready to take on the day. It's going to be a hot one here in Texas. I think this is like our 9th consecutive day of over 100. So we're sweating and just trying to get through it. But let's go ahead and get started and talk a little bit about SEO and some things that I've kind of noticed going on with certain people that I've talked to and maybe potentially other experts. But something that I've seen happen a lot, especially in regards to SEO, is that people will implement or try something that they think will help their ranking or maybe improve their position on Google search. But in actuality, it's actually hurting them. So my question is, what are some common SEO mistakes that you've seen people make when maybe when they think that they're doing something right?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. I think one of the most common mistakes that I see is that people might be blogging and they think simply by putting words on the page and putting up a post that that's good for SEO. And I can tell you that that's not as simple as it sounds. You really have to optimize your post for SEO. And there are several different things that come into that equation. Everything from the word count of the article to using things like H1 and H2 tags, making sure that you've got keyword density every 100 words or so throughout the article. You need to make sure that you've got both inbound and outbound links that are quality links. You need on the back end things like meta descriptions and tags and excerpts. So it's not enough to just write an article and put it up on your page and say, this is great for SEO. You really have to get into the nitty gritty and understand what elements of a blog post the search engines are looking for and make sure that you're writing and playing to that.
That makes sense. So we'll talk a little bit about this in the webinar on Thursday, and be sure to register for that. The link for that should be in the comments, or it should be here any second now. But what are some new developments or trends that you've seen in regards to SEO? Because I know that the Google algorithm and Google itself is constantly updating. It's constantly finding ways to improve and get people the best possible answers for their search queries as they can. And whether that's with a local business, they're looking for a place to eat in their town, or if they're just trying to figure out a random fact that popped into their head. So what have you seen recently in regards to SEO, like some of the latest trends and developments?
Yeah, I think one of the things that really shocks a lot of people is the length of article that Google is looking for now. Just a few years ago, a 300 to 500 word article was perfectly fine. And then it went up to around 700 to 1,000 words. But the latest Google algorithm is actually really prioritizing very long form content. So Google wants posts that are between 24 and 2,500 words long. It is a long article. They are prioritizing quality over quantity. And so they want to show in search results articles that are very in-depth, comprehensive, that are providing a lot of really valuable information for people who are searching for information on that particular topic. So I think that's one of the latest trends in Google that really shock a lot of people. The other thing that I think people don't realize when it comes to SEO is that Google is really it when it comes to search. So over 80% of searches in the world are done on Google. And the next highest percentage is on Bing with just over 7%. And then you're scattered amongst the smaller purveyors like AOL and Yahoo and Baidu and things like that in the small percentage of, 13% of posts that aren't scooped up by Bing and Google. So you really need to be playing to the Google search algorithm and understanding what Google is looking for if you want to be successful in coming up on the first page of search results.
Interesting. And going back to one of the earlier things that you said about the length of a blog post, what would you recommend? How would you identify, like when it comes to identifying the keywords that you want to trigger for, or you want to, make sure that you rank for those? What are some ways in which you can identify which keywords to even use? Is there some kind of tools or anything like that, or what would be the process for you to do that?
Absolutely. Well, it's interesting to note that 50% of all organic searches on Google include 4 or more words. And those are considered long tail keywords. They're words or phrases that are grouped together to make a phrase. And those are considered long tail when they're 4 or more words. And long tail keywords actually encourage much higher click-through rates in search results. So one of the things that I would look at when you're trying to determine what keywords to use is if you were going to search for a particular topic that you want to write about on a search engine, what would you type in? Let's use the example of wanting to go out for a burger tonight and enjoy a burger. Chances are you wouldn't get on Google and just search burger and just put in burger as a term, or cheeseburger. You're going to get all kinds of results, everything from recipes to maybe where you can get supplies to make a cheeseburger vendors, restaurants. It's going to be a mishmash of all kinds of stuff. So it's more likely you would type in something to the effect of best burger restaurants near me, which is over 4 words. So it's long tail, and it's going to get you much more specific results. It's going to pull up restaurants that have burgers, that have a great Google review for their burgers, and that are near you. So I like to tell our clients and our team members here at Three Girls Media to make sure your keywords pass the Google test. Are they actually words or phrases that you would use to type into a search engine to find the content that you want to write about?
Interesting. And, that reminds me of a conversation that I've had in a previous webinar with a fellow SEO expert. And he was telling me that people are really starting to search very specifically with their search terms. Because I think people are starting to understand, like, you can't just search burger and expect an answer. You kind of have to get into the nitty gritty of like, oh, I'm looking for the best cheeseburger on the east side near me, things like that, where it's like, I'm trying to find a very specific thing. And that's interesting. That's kind of the way that people are moving. So switching gears, and this is something that we're not going to talk about I don't want to disclose any of the tips that we're going to cover in the webinar, because that's for the webinar, which, by the way, everybody, make sure that you click the link in the comment and you pick your spot, because this is going to be an awesome discussion with Erika and I. So outside of the things that we're going to cover in the webinar, do you have any tips or advice for those tuning into the live stream right now that they can potentially implement to help their ranking in local search?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say one of the things that's so important to do, and we talked about this a little bit, is to claim your business listing. If you haven't claimed your business listing on at least Google and Bing, you are missing out. And shockingly, 56% of businesses out there have not claimed their listing on Google. That's more than 50%, which blows my mind. It's very important for your search engine, and we'll get into the details of why and how in our webinar and why that's so important and things you need to keep in mind when you're creating your Google listing for your business or your Bing listing. But you've got to claim it. That's the first place to start.
Interesting. Wow. Well, that number is just like it kind of threw me for a loop. It's like there's majority of businesses have not even claimed their Google business profile. That's incredible. And that's just such a huge thing, because that's your digital storefront. That's what most people see when they search Google for the first, like pretty much anytime you search burgers near me, it's going to pop up with 3 Google business profiles of the burger places near you. So if you don't have that claim, you're missing out a ton of exposure.
Right.
Wow. Well,
and I know that, even if you don't have a website, which shockingly some businesses don't have in this day and age, even if you don't have a website yet, claim your Google listing. At least it's going to give you an online presence and help people find you online.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, especially even on your maps, and it's connected to all of that stuff. It's absolutely crucial. Well, it looks like we're running out of time for today. So thank you so much, Erika, for joining us. And thank you to everyone who's tuning in live and maybe even watching the recording. Be sure to click on the link in the comments, register for the webinar. The discussion is just going to be absolutely amazing. We've already did our dry run, and I'm super stoked for it. It's going to be a really great discussion. So we will catch you guys in the next Birdeye Live, and have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Hope to see you Thursday.
I'll see you Thursday, definitely.